Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Sarah's View of Life, right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Give peace a chance. I've just had a delightful interview with David Wick that's on this week on peace. And he's been a peace advocate for over 40 years with the UN and peace around the world and doing some wonderful things with the peace movement. And, another show on health. And, last week I did one on war. And so ultimately, when it comes down to it, the common denominator is that if we want peace in the world, we have to be the peace. Peace is a wonderful idea, and everybody thinks it's just an idea and that we're just not going to achieve it because, peace in our time. We used to have, the pageant contestants, the question, what do you want in the world? I just want world peace. And that world peace isn't something that we buy, we purchase, we demand. It's something we become. That world peace is achievable by being peace within ourselves. The more peace, love, alignment, purpose that we have within ourselves, the more we radiate that out, and the more that peace then starts immersing and embracing and warming other people. So peace is a choice, and we can't buy it. And we can't demand somebody else give it to us. It's something that we have to do ourselves. And that is something that is unavoidable. It is what it is. It's the journey we have to take. So, and I've always been a person that prefers peace because it's my equilibrium. That's where I'm most balanced. But I'm also a person, which is part of the reason why I'm brought here, is to point out what's wrong. So we have the choice to put things right. And we've been sold a bill of goods now for so long. Pharmaceutical and the medical area selling us, well, pharmaceutical especially, selling us things that are bad for us. Keeping you a patient, having you returning with another problem. Looking at the medical practice is that if a doctor is going to prescribe well-beingness or holistic, they're blacklisted. It's at the agenda. What procedure, what drug are you pushing? And what they know about medicine is coming from the pharmaceutical companies. And so many have, wanted to push back and they can't. And look at Roe versus Wade, where doctors right now cannot perform life-saving procedures on women if they're miscarrying or having any complications with their pregnancy, and it's wrong. We need to speak out about these things. We need to address what's wrong so we can put it right. We are the peace that we seek, but we can't just step into a kumbaya, la, 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 I don't want to hear peace. We have to step into a peace where we're looking at equality. We're looking at inner balance. We're looking at cohesiveness. We don't all have to agree. That is not the point. We can agree to disagree. We can agree to educate ourselves to look at things from all sides. We can agree to hold many of our organizations accountable, including pharmaceuticals. So much wrong with that. I mean, when you've got an ad that says depression hurts and they show everybody being depressed, but this pill is going to make you feel happy. And then there's 10 minutes of all the side effects that it will give you. And one of them is suicide. That is a choice that we have to say, that is not serving me. There are other ways to get through depression. Sometimes it is clinical depression, and you do need something that is going to balance chemistry in your body because your body is off chemical. It's, not producing what it needs to produce and it needs help. Absolutely agree with those diagnoses if they're right, and that certain medication is needed, bipolar, etc. But there's also so much accountability that we can do When we know that there's something wrong, what are we going to do to find ways to put it right or to manage it in a way that it doesn't manage us or that we don't become dependent on the drugs to save us? We can live balanced with both, or we can live one or the other. Again, it is about that inner balance. When we find the inner balance, when we know where our core is, where we come from the heart, we listen to the soul's wisdom. Our spirit wants to get into action and our mind finds the clarity it needs when it needs it. We are centered. We are at peace. We're in that deep breath. Everything is in alignment. When we're in that alignment, we can see things more clearly and make better choices. That is a peaceful state of being. And in order to live in that peaceful state of being, yes, we have to deal with things out there that need to be addressed. Otherwise, they will continue on. We need to stop buying certain rhetorics that allow us to go down roads that we don't want to go. Sorry, I had to pause there for a moment. My heating has gone, and so we're having to look at a whole new heat pump. So I had to go through that. So there's a pause here, so I can't remember what I was saying beforehand, other than we're looking at peace. And so, yes, that's actually another aspect of life, isn't it? There's all these things in life that happen to us where it's going to be an expense. And we let anxiety step in, we let other things step in and get us all in a knot and get all worried. But when we look at it and break things down, there's always a solution to be had. And it's just a question of centering ourselves, taking that breath and going, okay, have to change it, right? Otherwise, go to freeze to death. But at the same time, it's what are the options to make it easier? And that's the thing about finding peace. The thing about living in peace is we're not going to not have things happen that we have to face. But when you're coming from a calmer state, you look at it and don't step immediately into reactionary anxiety, but step more into, okay, not the news I wanted, but it's what has to happen. How, what, where can we save money? What can payments be? And look at the options. Because most people today have an option for you, have a payment plan for you, because everybody is in financial straits. And so they need to do that in order to get your business and be able to sell you what they want to sell you. So it's how we deal with things. Shoot is going to happen, right? Things are going to happen that we don't want to deal with. But again, it comes down to how do we deal with it based on how we step back, take a breath, calm ourselves down and look at it. See, peace is always within inside. I'm going to have to replace my heating. It's gone, it's finished, and it's going to be costly. That's the bad news. Now, what can we do in order to make it happen? And what the good news is when I get it all happening and I've got heat, it'll be more efficient and it will obviously warm me up better. So there's always that choice to look at the better side of things that makes a choice more peaceful in the way that we look at it. So peace isn't all about kumbaya and about peace of the world. Yes, that's the ultimate aim. We would like everybody to step into that frequency and that vibration. But peace comes from being able to make choices without kind of losing yourself. Now, some people may get a diagnosis they don't want. Nobody wants a diagnosis that's negative. And it's what's happened. And yes, there's the initial shock, and you need to go through that emotion. And then it's center yourself, what do I need to do? How do I empower myself to go through this? What are my steps? We cannot think rationally. We cannot see solutions if we're crunched up in anxiety or stress. It just doesn't work. There's nothing running fluidly through us in order to do that. So coming at things from a peaceful state of being, of not the news I wanted, but what can I do? What am I empowered to do about it? So many people, and believe me, for 12 and a half years of interviewing people, the resilience, the tenacity, and the willingness to go through the steps of the pain, of the anguish, of the struggle, of the strife, to come out the other end and be the winners in their own life, be the abundance in their own life, is exemplary. And it is, they chose to. We're all going to have to go through things that are unpleasant, that we don't want to go through. But our choice is how do we do it? Now, we can have good days and bad days going through it. Some days we just want a cocoon and not know. Other days we need to reach out to people. And other days are good. I'm loving what I'm learning. I'm loving what I'm discovering. But it's the willing to go through it in a peaceful state of being, which is the allowing yourself to go through the process of whatever healing, of whatever obstacle is in your way, in a peaceful state of being. Because the reactionary or the anger or the anxiety or the bitterness or the vengefulness will provide no solution, none whatsoever. It will be something that cripples you and will not provide any ideas of what to do or how to move forward. We only get that clarity when we're in that state of being calm and being centered. And that is that peaceful state of being that you do when you go into your core. When people meditate and they center themselves and they go into that calmness, that is that core calmness we're talking about. That core calmness is something that is your support system that will help you through things, that will help you in your discovery of what the solution is. If that is not in the equilibrium and it's not in its peace, then you will step into something that will be turmoil and chaos and more anxiousness or more angst and more what you don't want to go through. So it's really, really important that we give ourselves this space and this time. So peace is a choice. Peace is an option. It's the only option. When we're in that state of peace, in that state of equilibrium, that state of higher frequency, higher vibration, higher energy, and I don't mean energy of rah, rah, rah. I mean higher energy of riding in that higher frequency. It's a conscious energy. It's a cosmic energy. It's a divine energy. We're calm on our journey of life. We're calmer in our reaction, in our action, and in our ability to see what needs to be done. That is the peaceful state of mind, body, heart, and soul that I'm talking about. And when you're in that state of mind, heart, body, and soul, you're in an equilibrium that you can face whatever you need to face with, hey, be pissed off. Who wants it? But at the same time, you can deal with it because you're in your calmness, you're in your trust. So we are the love we seek, that love of self, that love of life, that love of each other. That doesn't mean we are condoning bad behavior, condoning violence, condoning hate. It just says we're choosing not to meet hate with hate, right? That's where you're going to go down the rabbit hole and never resolve anything. But when it is holding somebody accountable for their actions that they're taking that is hateful, you haven't stepped into the hate rhetoric. You're just holding them accountable for where they're at and perhaps offering them another solution or option, which very often somebody is that hate rhetoric is not ready to receive. So you can only do what you can do. It's choosing to look at it as they're not there yet. They may never be there. They may never put the work in to find that love and that peace and that equilibrium of soul and spirit and energy that we need to be in as human beings in order to keep evolving and to grow as a species, and also to bring balance and peace back to our earth that is in turmoil right now. Nothing comes out of that heavy, pounding vibration of disconnect and discord and disroot. Everything comes into place as a solution in the space of clarity, through peace, through love, through trust, through allowing, through being aware and stepping up into being the solution. So this peace that we talk about in the world, we're it. When we become it, we practice it, we share it, we're sharing those good vibrations that will lift people up, that will show people how to live on that plane of calmness, love, peace, tranquility, vision, illumination, just a space that is wonderful to be in. And I invite everybody to come and be a part of that space because it is truly beautiful. When we put in that work and go through that process and we become that, that's when we truly understand what living is all about. We as a human species are meant to evolve to a higher clarity, a higher plane, where we take that divine wisdom and incorporate it with our physicality, and we rise up to a different level. And we're behind time in our evolution because we're still in that hate, loathing, you're different, I'm out to get you rhetoric. The reason why we see so much of that discord in the world is they know that the world is changing and that we are elevating to a higher plane. And if they're not willing to rise up with us, they're going to go by the way of the dinosaur, and that is their choice. We feed the love. We feed the kindness, the consideration, the caring, the compassion. We're feeding the peace. We're being the peace. And that is when you will start seeing the clarity, the creativity, the productiveness, and the solutions that we need in this world. So I invite you to take your journey and be the peace that you seek, be the love that you seek. It doesn't mean things won't happen that you're going to get mad about. Get mad, spend the emotion, let it go. Now in that deep breath, what can you do about it? And if you can't do anything about it, then you simply have to walk away. If you can do something about it, be productive about it, but trust the core of your being to do so. Peace is within us. We are that peace. It's a state of being. The beingness of peace and love is within us, activated, so that you can share it. That light can be shed out, that vibration can be invitational, and we can start being the solution that this world needs peacefully. So until next time, folks, I wish you all a very peaceful journey. Bye-bye. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.